What's cracking, everybody? Christian Pedersen, Tommy Morris. That was meant to be a little bit better time, but that's Tommy Morris. His top 10 sound you'll hear all day.
Do you know what
potentially?
Do you know what I just noticed too?
No. What did you just notice?
Intro Noah says all fax, no printer. I know that that's a song lyric, but I don't think Noah's ever used a fax machine before because he's too young.
Let's put that on the poll at SD Prep Insider.
I honestly don't think anyone I think our age group might have been the last. Like anyone who's like
we're just putting at SD Prep Insider. Have you ever used a fax machine before?
Yeah, if you're born too close to 2000, I don't think you've ever done it.
Deal. You can find all of our polls at SD Prep Insider, at SD Preps, or at SB Live CA on Twitter and Instagram. You can find Bodie De Silva. He's our other guest joining us today. Bodie, what is going on? Happy football season.
Yeah, good to be back and finally have some actual games to talk about.
So some scrimmages, some games. We normally are. We're in our own spring training, so I'd say we normally would do some game balls. We do some game picks. We have kind of a rhythm and flow. It was a weird week of games last week because some were scrimmages, some were games. So I don't know how you want to grade game balls, but I do want to give a shout out to Tommy Morris for taking home his first dub as a coach.
Easy.
Easy.
No, not easy. Like if the game was easy, I'm saying easy. Like I don't.
Fair enough. All I'm saying is my boy's a winner. My boy's getting dubs, so he's in a good mood today. But yeah, let's talk about some shout outs, game balls, whatever. Give me something you saw, and maybe Bodie just teased some of your articles. But what was the thing or two you saw on Friday, Saturday, Thursday? All of the games getting played on all sorts of different days last week.
Yeah, I thought two teams that I expected to be good, Saints and Cathedral Catholic, both went out in week one and made statements. Cathedral, obviously, with the home game, but went in and shut out a Torrey Pines team that I expect to be a top 10 team throughout the year. And Saints went to Helix, a team that I had number one. I know Tommy was smarter than most of us on that, and Saints went in and got a big win. So
man enough to admit it, I appreciate that.
Two teams with Saints and Cathedral that are going to meet up. I believe it's a week from tomorrow. So that'll be a big showdown, as it always is. But if they're 1 and 2 going in, it's even bigger.
Tommy, just how big of a statement win can it be taking down the number one team? Is Saints now number one? Who do you have as your?
Who's number one team?
I'm saying who is in your number one right now? Can we do your top 10? Can we do your top 10 during the show?
I had Cathedral, and I thought Cathedral Torrey Pines was going to be a closer game, and I still thought Cathedral was the best team in the county, and it was a blowout. So they impressed me even more. So I'll put them at I put them at 0 now. Put them in the higher. I will agree that Saints is fine with my charts too. I mean, that was again, take these things with a grain of salt because it is a scrimmage, and some teams took it seriously like a game. Some took it like we're still evaluating things. So it's really hard to tell just by looking at scores. So take these with a grain of salt. But I didn't think I'd ever see this ever. How about 135 points in a game?
You talking about SFC Orange Glen?
Yes.
Boy.
I don't know. I mean, you talk about two teams that have just completely different styles, and maybe this is a situation where SFC is so used to practicing against like their wing T and the run game that they run on offense, and Orange Glen's so used to practicing against the vertical passing game, and then all of a sudden you have to play just the complete opposite, and nobody knows how to stop anybody. But that game was wild. There's no other way to put it. It's just wild. Especially early in the season, you normally see defenses ahead of offenses, but with a year and a half off, if these kids have been working together and doing Zoom meetings and going to practice when they're allowed to, it's almost like the offense is like super advanced now. So that's a lot of points.
Well, we've certainly talked to a couple of coaches who have said they've had enough time to have the fundamentals of the playbook really deeply installed in a way that, normally they would just be doing it on the field because that was the first chance they would get to do it. And now they've had good time to communicate with them. I thought that there was a couple of the scrimmage scores that were interesting. Mount Carmel in our first ever, we did the live game broadcast. Thanks to Jonathan Rifkin for that. But Mount Carmel, they looked quite capable of scoring.
Oh, that's what else is good is Jonathan Rifkin.
Yes. The scoring across the county, Tom, you're absolutely right, was significantly higher than I thought it was going to be. I thought we would have a lot of 10-7. I thought we'd have a lot of 14-7 17, like low scoring games. We had a ton of really efficient offenses all across the county. I thought that was really, really a good sign. Bodie, anything that maybe in some of the smaller schools that caught your eye? I know I was at Tri-City Christian and saw them really put up an impressive performance against Bishops in the first game of the season. Maybe something you saw from the smaller schools.
Yeah, I know. Just looking at, and Tommy brought up the game, but that Santa Fe Christian Orange Glen box score is just wild when you see that Orange Glen threw for over 500 yards, had 7 touchdowns through the air, and they lost by 27 points. I don't think that's something that you'll see too often. But yeah, I agree with the scoring there. I was expecting a lot more games like we saw with Lacoste and San Marcos, which ended up at 9-7. I thought there'd be several
with the defensive touchdown.
Yeah, and maybe as more teams are playing this week, if they only had an inter-squad scrimmage last week, something like that, maybe those will be more the scores. But I'm all for the offense and glad to see it.
The Orange Glen one excited me. Yes, it's a tough loss for them putting up that much, and you can go check out our TikTok. It made the page. I loved seeing them throw.
Yeah,
going from a very heavy run offense the last 4 years with Cale Patterson and the ground and pound that they were doing to just immediately switch up the offensive philosophy and get it done through the air. That I think is going to be a huge credit to them this season. They'll end up being successful. And who knows, SFC just might end up being that dang good all season long. They got a Thursday game. I'm excited about that because that means that I will be able to go catch that game today. Bodie, will you be at that game?
Good luck getting into that one.
I mean, I don't have to be in it. It's a decently accessible field from a parking lot. I can get a good
photo. Well, yeah, I'd rather not watch from the parking lot. I was planning to go and was told that no parents, no spectators, nothing. So I will be watching that on a live stream.
Bodie, you don't know about the San Diego Prep Insider crane? We have a harness for Christian to be strapped into, and we're just going to hold him up, kind of like the crane game, like he's a little toy. Dangle him over the field.
Yes, and if nothing else, I'll float by and we'll get a blimp and we'll float over.
There are a lot of blimps out there. Actually, there's actually plausible.
Is there like a bubble I can roll in on, and you're in there? You can stay away.
Yes. Well, I think we should all get. I think the schools should all get interns for us to just carry cameras around, take photos for us, keep it on campus, keep it small.
Actually, we should do that.
Yeah,
we'll just stream it. We should. Well, actually,
okay, wait. So let me ask you this: Have you guys watched any of the streams? Because multiple sports, multiple schools, tons of that kind of stuff is going on right now, and I'm curious how well you guys have interacted with it.
Well, another shout out to Jonathan Rifkin. If you don't want to do that and you want to listen to audio, do his. But I've been pleasantly surprised with a lot of them. I mean, don't expect like all world analysis for those schools that do have announcers. Generally it's a parent volunteer and they're just doing it to, either for fun or to make the product better for their kids' experience and that kind of stuff. But if you just want to see what's happening, like point blank, see what's happening, unlike I'm not going to get into issues with the Padres not doing the exact same thing, which they could easily do. But if you just want to see what's happening, it's been pretty cool. Kind of almost like you'd almost create like your own little red zone situation with all the streams.
Yeah, I was at a game on Friday. Before I went over, I watched some of the Santa Fe Christian Orange Glen game. Santa Fe always does a good job with them. They have multiple camera angles. They've always got a parent doing it. He brings in other people to commentate. So their one's always ready to go.
Well, Hall's pretty good about it too.
There's a couple that are really good about it. And I apologize for the distraction. The dog's going crazy right now. The perils of bringing your dog to work. I just think it's interesting because this to me feels like the beginning of another phase where like, I think some schools are doing this because I'm not just talking football. I've seen it in field hockey and volleyball, and there's just schools bringing stuff to YouTube channels now in ways that they did not before, that seem cheap, accessible, but also for the first time ever, actually just like watchable, actually enjoyable. Like you can sit there and be like, okay, like this isn't a huge compromise in my viewing standards. Enjoy a little bit of a football game or a little bit of what will hopefully be baseball games and that kind of stuff. And I wonder how much of this maybe becomes more permanently adopted.
I think it should. And we always think about football in the fall first, but in basketball plays at night too. But a lot of these sports, especially the ones that aren't the main quote unquote sports, they play their games at like 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon. And for a lot of parents, it's really difficult with work. So I think while this option has always been there, schools didn't really take it that seriously or look into it that much. And now that they sort of have to, once you put the avenues in place, there's no reason to really get rid of them, especially those self-pointing cameras that a lot of these schools have now too. There's why not just turn it on? I mean, it seems like a pretty easy solution to the problem. So I'm all for it.
Yeah, I'd agree. For baseball, I'm not used to seeing many. We'll see if as that gets started here on Saturday, if any of those pop up. I'd love to see that. Just another one. I'm used to really football and basketball, and I'm sure in basketball this year, definitely with indoor attendance very limited. We'll see a bunch of those pop up. I know I've talked to a couple of schools that are planning on that. So I probably won't be with announcers, but just being able to see the game is definitely better than nothing.
Well, and to me, it's the just being able to see the game to me is going to be just the really interesting one of when is it going to end up happening that more schools are just going to make it permanent and you can always find accessibility across, because why not just put a camera up in the gym so that you can live stream games for your entire basketball season, because you already have. I mean, so many schools have shot up to the 1,000 YouTube follower mark significantly faster than I thought they would be capable of doing. Yep. And that once that's set up, that's never undo it. You can just take a camera or desktop, laptop. You take small things and do great big things with it. So I am all for this happening. Try to find the silver linings in the whole shutdown distance thing, and maybe this happens. You mentioned spectators though, Bodie. Seems like a lot of that has changed in the last 24, 48 hours. Can you give us the latest in terms of how well you know it, that who will be allowed to watch what, when, where, and why?
Yeah, so for me this year, I'm just going to plan to make sure I confirm with someone from the school before I head there. But I know San Diego has been open to having parent spectators, and that's going to be for indoor as well, which I'm glad to see. I know San Diego Unified just switched their ruling, so they will allow parents. Private schools, it's kind of been here or there. I know Helix is a charter school. I will be at their game Friday. I believe they're allowing parents as of this point. Francis Parker is not allowing anyone. So it's school by school. And I think as numbers change and tiers change, maybe they'll reevaluate. For football, you don't have many weeks to go about that. But I'm hoping for a sport like baseball, where I think it is easier to spread out and you're not going to have as many people that would attend as football. Hopefully those attendances can be maybe not normal, but close to normal.
Bodie, we can own up to it. Not a lot of people attend high school baseball.
Hey,
it's got to be Eastlake versus somebody big, like late in the season or in the playoffs to get a large crowd.
These 10. So,
well, for Eastlake this year, half the crowd might be scouts and GMs.
Yes, I mean that's how they always stack it. Always stack it with really, really good talent that attracts a lot of people, both professionally and otherwise.
There's also the advantage that football has that most of the, as far as letting people in, most of these stadiums, I'll call them, are enclosed in some way, shape, or form. And it's such a scheduled thing. Like it's just once a week that it's really easy to put a guest list together. Where something like basketball or baseball, where the games are happening sporadically at random times at random places, it's really, really hard to keep it regulated. So like you're saying, the advantage baseball has is they tend to be in areas that are more open. So if a parent's gonna be sitting somewhere like far away, I don't think anyone's gonna care. And it's not like the whole world's coming to see. So I think by the time a week or two in, I think there's going to be like very, very little restrictions as far as that's concerned. It's going to be kind of a self-police situation where just don't sit on top of each other, kind of figure out somewhere to go.
Yeah, for baseball, obviously they don't charge until the semifinal round, but it's always funny to see schools try and keep people out because so many of the baseball fields have multiple entrances in and are not really meant to keep people out. So I think you might have some parents that find a way into the outfield or be watching up against a fence. So depending on what the rules are, I think baseball will have some solid attendance for those who want to go, obviously.
Yeah, I don't think that was ever in question. I think we've always kind of said that the last 4 to 6 weeks has looked like spring season's going to happen pretty fluently. It is underway, as you mentioned, this weekend into next week. Season 2 stuff is getting started. How much do we want to split up the show into covering football versus covering the rest of sports? Bodie, where will you be splitting your workload?
Yeah, so with football only being a 6-week season and no playoffs, we're focused on football through the end of it. I certainly will get out to some baseball and basketball beforehand, but really until football wraps up, I won't put a ton of attention into the others, as we're expecting those sports to have close to the normal length of their season and a playoff season.
So here's what I would like to propose is that going forward for the remainder of this 6-week football season, we do the game ball segment open to all sports with the, the intention of, look, we do understand that this is the first time baseball has been back in in a year plus, and we're very excited with that too, but we got to focus on some football. We'll do game picks that is just football. And I think that makes a nice little balance. So if you're looking for in-depth baseball, lacrosse, any of that, we apologize for not having that quite yet. But we promised you that it is on the radar. Guys, you want to do a little bit of game? I don't know. Do previews, predictions, punditry, whatever. I hesitate to put the right adjective in front of this because I think that people get salty sometimes. Noun, verb, adjective, whatever. Sorry, man. Verbal, not written. But I think we can call these games that we just want to highlight, games that we want to talk about, games that we feel like could be pretty interesting to look at this week. The first one, we will do the shameless pitch part where you can watch Sweetwater at Chula Vista, one of the older, if not oldest, rivalries in all of the state in terms of high school football. Specifically, it'll be the 100th season for Sweetwater. The Red Devils throughout time have come and gone with greatness, and they've flirted with dynasty, and they were a bigger school at one point before newer schools started, but they are still an important school. Chula Vista, we have known them quite as a baseball school in the last couple of years. Perfect game thrown in by Antonio Garcia in the playoffs was pretty dope moment for them. They got good pinstripes. That'll be a game that you can watch Friday, 6:30 p.m. with Jonathan Rifkin here on our stream at our YouTube. What are we thinking here, Bodie? Who do you got? What do you want to see?
Yeah, I know in recent years, Sweetwater struggled. I think they keep it close in this one. I do ultimately think Chula Vista is going to win, but I think early on in the season, this will be one of the games where defense will be more dominant than some of the other ones we've seen. I'll go Chula Vista 17-13.
We're gonna score.
My goodness. Yeah. Wait, Bodie, set the bar extremely high there when for the rest
40,
of us now.
45-40, we can look back at that.
Jeez. Bodie's a madman. Tommy, what do you got?
Yeah, so for the Sweetwater side, Mario Villa comes back at running back, 681 yards last year, but in their matchup last season, he only had 6 yards. I think he got hurt in that game because he only had 3 carries. So kind of a redemption opportunity for him against Chula Vista, which, again, pretty cool to get to play each other first because this is normally an end of the season type game. Omar Perez comes back for Chula, 1,951 yards last year and 17 touchdowns through the air. Only catch here is, pun intended, 4 of his 5 most targeted players are not coming back this year. So they have to find basically a whole new crop of kids for him to throw to. Will that happen? I think in the first game, it's kind of tough. I really like Bodie's score. I think it's going to be a little bit more than that. I'm going to go with 22-20, the discrepancy being 1 2-point conversion and a missed extra point somewhere along the line.
I'll take Sweetwater in this one, just because I like being the contrarian and the upset guy. And I don't like taking one team over the other when we're talking about a 6-week season where everyone's just happy to be back. But
right.
Sure, let's play TV villain and upset some fan bases and rile things up. I think that Sweetwater has a lot of momentum riding on coming into this season, and I think they are going to be eating it alive that they get to have the rivalry game starting off that year. And I like the road underdog 100th season. I just like the storyline. So I'm definitely going with Sweetwater. One more time there. You can watch that 6:30 Friday night. Heading out to the East County, the Helix Highlanders, they will be playing host to Mater Dei Catholic. Now, this is a game that on paper, maybe you kind of look at with a little bit of the one eyebrow up emoji, but I think in reality, this is an interesting matchup. tons and tons and tons of talent at different positions. Helix got the interior. Mater Dei might have the exterior, secondary. There's different levels of talent here, but they're all really, really good. Tommy, let's start with you.
Do we have an upset bell? Or like a
wait, hold on.
noise?
I'm going to try out another random sound. Upset one will be teal. No.
Well, that sounds like I'm making a joke. What was that?
We'll go with this one for upsets. All
right. I think Mater Dei is going to win this game. And here's why. First of all, we all know about Trey Edwards, one of the best sophomores maybe in California, not just in San Diego. He will have offers from wherever he wants to play, basically, by the time that he is done. But there's another sophomore as well, Chris Snyder, who goes by Boom, is also a fantastic player. He's going to be a Division I guy. There's a lot of talent. There's some more kids who transferred in from Kearney. This is a different Mater Dei team than last year, even though they were very good last year. This is an even better Mater Dei team than last year. That's why I put them in the top 10. That's why I don't care what division they're in, because they're significantly better than they were last year. And again, that's not knocking last year's team, because last year's team was very good too. This is just a souped up version of Mater Dei. I think they can compete with anybody in the top 10, maybe not top 3, but they're definitely flirting with top 5 at some point in the season. So I like Mater Dei here, and then it will raise some eyebrows. This is not a knock on Helix. Again, I'll say this again. Kai Jesse, the freshman quarterback for Helix, will be a Division I player when it's all said and done, but he's just a freshman right now. He's going to be a very, very good one. So I like Helix as well, but I just think Mater Dei is really good this year.
Bodie.
Yeah, I'm going to go Mater Dei Catholic here as well. I'm a little concerned because they didn't play an actual game in week 1 like Helix did. But when you look at it, you got a senior quarterback that's Division I and Trevor Appleman. You got a senior running back in Nico Strada that's Division I heading to Idaho. You got talented two-way guy, Darren Barkins, who's headed to Oregon. And then you have the young talent Tommy talked about. The roster.
I said the wrong name. I just realized. I said Kai Jesse on accident. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's Rylan Jesse.
I'm gonna say Rylan Jesse. I'm sorry. I don't know why I said Kai Jesse. Rylan Jesse.
Yeah,
Rylan. I apologize.
I think this is the perfect time for Mater Dei to get a big upset. I know these schools have never played, which was pretty surprising to me. But I'm going to go Mater Dei here and pick up a huge win at Helix.
Rylan, please make sure you listened all the way through that, because if you stop it right when I called you Kai,
he already followed us. When I went to go find him on social media and follow him, he already followed us. I think he listens. I think you'll be fine, Tom.
Okay.
If need be, I would specifically tweet out that clip of you apologizing.
Well, unless he just clips that and then that propels him into a Hall of Fame NFL career, which I'll take credit for. So maybe that'll help him. I don't know.
Wow, doubling down and banking on he won't listen to the show, so you could clip out both opinions there and send the winning one down the line.
I didn't say not listen. I said, if I was him, I'd be so angry after the first one. But we'll see.
So, I do need to mention one more guy, Josh Meredith, obviously on offense for Mater Dei, heading to Washington State. So just another guy. I mean, they got 2 senior Pac-12 commits and just so much talent all over the field. I think this is the perfect time for them to get it done.
I mean, doesn't size up front win though? And like, you can't get to those weapons all over the field if you don't have the time to let them get downfield and get open. And that's where
double screen every play.
And I look, this is going to be a shootout, or this is going to be a low score. Like, this is going to be an even keel game. Like, this is going to be a really, really, really good matchup. But ultimately, I feel just that doing anything against Helix in this kind of a fashion is picking against Brady type. You just don't want to do it to yourself. So I'm saying, you guys don't do it. You're being crazy. Helix is going to be able to control the upfront battle in the end. And I think that they win out, even if it just becomes ball control, hold on to it and slow the game down to bleed out the clock because you can't hold them off. Like, Helix is going to come out with the win. What do you say we head up to the North County for the next one? We got LCC and El Camino. I'll get started with this one. I liked what I saw last week with LCC in terms of defense. That's where I thought I thought everything was going to be low scoring. So they were along the lines of what I projected. I just haven't seen anything yet from El Camino this season. So to me, it's simple. I'm going with what I've seen. And I think LCC wins another defensive slugfest. Bodie?
Yeah, El Camino, I know last week had the inter-squad scrimmage. They'd been checking around for a little bit to try and find a game. There's definitely a lot of hype about them coming in this year. They return guys at different positions. I'm going to go El Camino here in a close one, though. I know Lacoste is going to try and pound the ball. Great defense. I will go 17-14. El Camino sneaks one out to start the year.
Tommy Morris.
So LCC, like Bodie mentioned, did play a game. Their defense was phenomenal. I know they lost technically 9-7, but or they win 9-7. Hold on, let me get that backwards.
Lost 9-7.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Lost 9-7, but the touchdown they gave up was on defense. Or was on offense, giving up a defensive touchdown. So their defense looks phenomenal. Kid I want to mention on their defense is Cyrus Chula, breakout player, I think, at linebacker position. He had a good year last year, but not enough people talking about him. LCC also used two quarterbacks in the game. They used Ethan Warnock and they used Parks Odenweller. Parks is more the thrower, Ethan more the runner. They scored their touchdown on offense with Ethan. I expect to see more of both of them, but we'll see. They'll probably ride the hot hand at some point. I think that throwing is going to end up working out better for them in this game, so expect Parks to play a little bit more. But as far as El Camino is concerned, Jacob Gathright, Kelton Howard, John Wesley, Sterling Fields, all great wide receivers. They've got a lot of weapons over there at El Camino. Didn't get a chance to see him last week, so it's really, really hard to make this judgment. I'm going to go with El Camino in a squeaker. I got to do a score. I got to do a score too, right?
No way.
Let me go with 21-17.
No score for me.
No. Sorry. I mean, 17-14. Definitely 17-14.
One final game to get to, and also Tommy, I gotta give you props. You are on a mid to late season form in terms of name pronunciation. You're just your name pronunciation. You're hitting it, man. You are sticking it much better than I would have expected any of us to be early in the season.
Or like some other figurehead at some other station.
Final game, we got La Jolla at Morse. Hey man, I'm glad that we're both punching together on this one.
And now they're running it. Wait, no, they're not. And that was a touchdown that I actually just announced. But this is the same. Sorry. Hey, if you know, you know.
If you get the show, you get the show. If you don't get the show, you're probably not listening 32 minutes in. Last game, then we'll get out of here. Thank you very much, everyone, for following along. You can follow us at SD Prep Insider. You can follow Bodie at SD Preps or SB Live CA. Tommy's at Real Tommy Morris on both Instagram and Twitter. And to those of you questioning why it is real Tommy Morris, because there is a fake Tommy Morris, and this guy's legit. He's a real personality. Last game we got is La Jolla at Morse. I will jump in early and say that I am still all in on Byron Cardwell being potentially the greatest show on turf this year, but La Jolla and Oceanside was close. That game was real close. La Jolla looked pretty good. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Am I a homer to take them, even though they take an L in a scrimmage? I don't think so. Bodie?
Whose turn? Oh, Bodie, you go.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to help La Jolla a lot that they were able to prepare for a game against Oceanside, a team that I think can compete with really anyone in the county. They got to go up against Kavika and really see from the start they got to stop the run, and that's what they're going to have to face. I mean, Morse has been pounding it for years, and when you add a running back like Byron Cardwell, it's only going to be even more. They got Jacob Hicks to go along with him. That's a fantastic duo at running back. But ultimately, I think La Jolla just has too much talent on both sides. Jackson Stratton's a really good junior quarterback, and I think La Jolla is going to take it. I will go 35-20 La Jolla.
Oh God, the scores, always with the scores. I'm thinking about it as you kind of list through those names. It's dope that we'll have a Navy commit linebacker tackling an Oregon commit running back. That's just cool. Like that's a D1 talent on both sides of that equation. And I feel like these are two schools that we have not spent a ton of time on in the 6 years we've been doing this.
Yep.
Talking about having legitimate Division I talent. And then there are 5 other guys also on the team. Did Tommy give us a score before he dipped out of his video? Tommy, you still there?
I'm still here.
All right. Did you give us a score, Tommy?
No, I thought I was doing my full.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, thing here. Okay, sorry. I dropped my phone on the ground. Here we go. So I'm back. So you look, I'm on the video. So yeah, So for La Jolla, this is a big year for Jackson Stratton as far as his potential recruiting is concerned. He's the quarterback. I know he's gotten, I think, an offer from FIU, but these 5, 6, whatever you call them, games could be a big thing for him because he's going to be a senior next year. Diego Solis, another kid I always like to mention, one of the best two-way athletes in San Diego. Line is anchored by big Isaac Ramirez. Very, very good athlete for his size. So on a line that doesn't have as many big dudes, Isaac Ramirez definitely stands out. For more, we obviously just talked about Byron Cardwell, one of the best football players maybe to come out of San Diego in the last 10 years.
Ooh.
One of the best. One of the best.
Let's go. What? That's a solid take.
Maybe top 10. It might be. So I'm going to go with La Jolla on this one. They have a lot of depth this year, which for that program is pretty rare. They normally don't have as many kids just straight up on the roster, but also this year, a lot of kids with a lot of talent. Defensively, you saw a lot of big hits out of them last week. This is a team that is going to be led by their defense as much as we like talking about their offense and their wide receivers and Jackson Stratton, but this is a good La Jolla team. So I like La Jolla here. I like La Jolla 17-14, 2 17-14 games.
Nice. Very nice. There's a bunch of other games. We'll usually keep it to 4. I don't know what we'll do. Maybe last week we'll do all the games. It is safe to say at this point, Noah's not going to be joining the show. But if you want to follow Noah, you can at Noah Lax 2017 or Noah Lax 17. I miss him, man. He gets wifed up and he's gone. And he's got a new job. Bodie, do you know where you'll be on Friday?
I will be at Helix.
Latter-day, you said?
Catholic. And then I'm hopeful Saturday. I know Oceanside and Mission Hills got moved after Mission Hills had to not play it last week. So I'm just waiting for clearance there, and hopefully that works out.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. Never before have we had to search out athletic directors and coaches as aggressively as we have in the last couple of weeks to figure out, hey, is this game happening? Am I allowed? And Tommy has some good ideas with using the crane to get up there. We might have to invest a little bit more heavily.
Get a crane.
I haven't heard anyone else talk about it. We could be the first.
In nefarious heist technology. We'll come in Tom Cruise style, Mission Impossible, just drop in on wires.
Or one of those things that's like a box. You see it at some high schools. It's like a box that like, if they don't have a press box, they'll like put the coaches in like the little thing that.
Yes, I saw that for the first time at Tri-City Christian on Friday. Lift? Yes.
Is that what it's called?
I'm not going on that.
Yeah. Well, no, wait. So no lie. I saw this for the first time on Friday at Tri-City Christian. I'm on the visitors bleachers. So we're looking off and the whole game can just see kind of the lit windows from it. So I don't really see what the actual structure is, that there is just a dude announcing and calling in plays for the offensive coordinators and whatever. I go down to say hi to somebody on the field. I look up 2 minutes later, the whole box is gone. I'm like, what the hell? Like it just, the stands just cut in half. Like, wait, what? And then I go over and I figured out it was this scissor lift thing. Mind blown that was an option. And yes, we can get that painted with all of our faces on the side.
Might have to invest.
Do you need your own driver's license? Do you need like a special kind of license to drive that on the freeway?
I don't know. I mean, I think normally, I think they get delivered by a bigger truck and then they just stay there for the remainder of the season. And they,
no, because ours is going to have to drive from school to school.
Oh yeah, crap.
We're gonna have to
no, I'm just going to tell you no. I'm not going to look it up. I'm just going to tell you no, and you can drive it.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
It's all good. It's all good advertising for the show. Hey, download the sports app. Download the CIF 365 app. I'm driving on the freeway with a scissor lift. Classic radio gags from 1980. We're aging out quick, man. We're aging out really quick. Appreciate everybody sticking around for the whole show. We got football. We got sports. Like I said, we'll be back next week, balancing out all the coverage. Maybe we'll invite David Ring on for the first time next week.
Nice.
Maybe we'll come back in person in the next couple weeks. Who knows? All I know is that you can follow it at SD Prep Insider for more. Talk to you guys later.